Next, set goals, right? Set goals. Goals without specifics, deadlines, numbers, being very specific. Just a goal, having a goal. Well, I want to launch an eyeliner course. That is not a goal. That's a wish, right? I want to launch an eyeliner course. I want it launched by October 1st. And, I want 2 models in the course. I want, one eyeliner to be, thicker and a wing. I want the other eyeliner to be a lash enhancement. And I want a power, and, and you draw it all out. You outline your chapters. You outline what's important to you to have in that course. You set a That's a goal. That's a goal. And when you set goals, and you're very specific with your goals, and you outline them, you're more likely to achieve those goals in the time frame that you set. I think we talked about this on the last podcast. And then some people, they just don't set like timelines, deadlines, and it's easy just, well, I'll do that next month. Well, I'll do that next month. And it's easy just to keep kicking it, down the road and not getting it done. So when you set a goal, if the goal is important to you, outline the goal with a specific, date in mind, and whatnot. And that's going to keep you more on track. Next, hit the pavement. What I mean by that is you need to take action and you need to execute, right? So if you are in the beauty industry per se, let's say you're a hairdresser or you're a nail tech, lash tech, PMU artist, whatever, and you're trying to build a clientele, I think you need to get, yes, social media is important, but keeping up with the Instagram algorithms and all the changes, right? They just did a big change a couple days ago. Everybody bitched and kind of changed it back, but trying to keep up with that, you need to, yes, be on social media and market on social media, but you also have to be creative and market off social media, outside social media. I don't think just relying on social media 100% does the trick. Maybe for somebody, but some people, but not for all, probably not for the majority. So, go identify your clients. Identify who are your clients. Once you identify your clientele, where else do they go in your city or your town? Are they going to, are they frequenting, like dermatologists, other salons, moms groups? There's groups, networking groups that you can join online. Mom groups. There's networking groups here in Vegas, and I think there's like a dues that you pay. Like there's membership fees, but they're small and they're affordable, and they only allow one of each profession in these networking groups. I was in a networking group for 2 years, many years ago, and it helped me tremendously. And the group kind of takes an oath to kind of promote each other. So look for networking groups in your local town or city. If you're a mom, maybe joining mom groups. There's walking groups, where people get together and they walk. They walk trails, they walk malls. There's a lot of women like over 60 in their 60s, 70s, and 80s seeking permanent makeup. And where do those women, where do they go? A lot of them are in walking groups. They golf. They're out doing things. They're retired. A lot of them are active and social. So figure out your clientele, and you may have different demographics. A lot of your clients may be in their 20s and 30s. A lot of your clients may be in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Define your clientele, the different groups, and where those different groups, different women are hanging out or frequenting, and then go network. Go introduce yourself. Drop your cards off. You can even offer discounts. You can offer referral fees. There's so many things, creative things, that we can do to get our name out there, to network, to build a clientele. And to this day, as fantastic as social media is, there's just something about meeting you in person, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Your energy, your smile, the tone of your voice, your mannerisms. I like to touch. I always put my hand on like someone's arm, or, I'm affectionate, and I just think it's way more personal and allows someone to know you rather quickly, rather than a static photo online, or a filtered video. So, and a lot of people are not on social media. A lot of people, are not on social media. Believe it or not, I think some people think everybody's on social media, but a lot of people are not. I know people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, all ages, that are not on social media. It's just not their thing. So, hit the pavement. Hit the pavement. Okay. Being coachable, right? That's a good one. Being coachable. Open to being taught, and open to being critiqued, which might be the most important part of being coachable, right?
Yeah.
Being critiqued. And some people are very defensive when they're critiqued, and that's not a good sign. I don't think that's a good attribute. You have to be open to being critiqued, being taught. That if you're open to that and you receive that, then that leads to growth. That leads to you evolving. And there are certainly people out there that they're not open to being taught. They're not coachable, because they already think they know everything, and when you think you already know everything, growth stops. Not only does growth stop, but I think you get left behind. I think, there's a truth to it, that you actually get left behind. And the longer you stay in that space, not being teachable, not open to growth, not open to learning, being coachable, the bigger the gap gets, right? Because we're all learning, we're all being coached, we're being, we're open to being critiqued, we're learning, we're open, we're growing, we're evolving. And if you're not, you stay right where you are, and we're moving forward, and that gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I've experienced, people that are not coachable. They're not open to learning. They think they are, but that's only if they're receiving accolades, right? But the minute you critique them or point out where they could do better, they shut down. They're defensive. They don't want to hear that. I don't, sometimes it doesn't necessarily feel good to be critiqued. I totally get that. And I guess it's all in the manner on how you are critiqued. I've had mentors that are very hard, blunt, rough around the edges, don't mince their words, and almost felt like they were like yelling at me, and I could get a little embarrassed and feel bad about myself. But I didn't leave that mentor, because even though maybe the delivery was uncomfortable for me, maybe the delivery was a little hard, a little harsh, she didn't soften it or candy coat anything. And this is a very particular mentor in my life. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that woman had a lot to teach me. I knew I was going to learn a lot from this woman, and I sure as hell did. And I'm grateful for her every single day. But she made me cry once, and like I said, her delivery was harsh. It wasn't soft. She didn't candy coat anything, and a lot of times it didn't feel good. But I never got defensive. I stayed super open. I stayed a sponge, and I just wanted more and more and more and more and more. But I did pray for her. I prayed for her to like, please, for soften just a little bit, you know. And there were some, and of course, she had moments where she was tender and a little softer in her delivery, but it just wasn't her. Just wasn't her personality. Just wasn't her personality. Not everybody's soft and tender and candy coats everything. You know, I'm not always soft and tender. You know, I can be, and then I can be blunt and to the point too. Do you know? I guess it just depends on whether I'm in a good mood that day or not. You know? And Michonne, look at like Michonne's such a great teacher, great mentor. And she also can have moments that are really tender, and she can be kind of blunt and straightforward with, you know, with her words of wisdom as well, you know, but it's always meant to help. It's always meant to support and to get, you know, our artists over the humps, over the obstacles, you know, to the next level. So yeah, being coachable. I just took a coaching lesson. Never been coached before, like professionally coached. And I can't talk about it yet, but I am going to be talking about it in some upcoming podcasts. And I think I might even have my coach as a guest on the podcast, but it was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was long. And it was fantastic, and it was eye-opening, and I loved it. And they got me thinking about things that I hadn't thought about before, and they pulled some feelings out of me and whatnot. So it's glad to know that after all these years, you know, 22 years in this industry, and you know, I'm still super coachable, teachable. I'm open to learn. I love learning. I always have. And there's so many people to learn from. So many different people to learn from. So it's fantastic. That's what makes life so good, learning. Okay, being coachable.